But NFL is what we were originally going to talk about.
Who we should be talking about.
Okay. So I guess we can start it just like season recap. I think you on introductions. I guess I'm Eric Merritt. I draw comics and bitch about Pokemon or complain about Pokemon. Sorry, I don't know what your stream rules are on language.
I entirely try. Wait, are you streaming this right now?
I'm not streaming.
Okay.
But I figured it was going to end up on your channel, so.
Yeah, because I just don't trust streaming anymore on mine. No, I mean, I try not to swear, but it never actually works that way.
Okay. Well, I'll try and keep it to a minimum as well. Nothing that you wouldn't see on Fox.
I try and turn this on to actually catch that the NHL conversation, and of course I didn't. And I'm pretty sure there's a way to get Skype calls anyways, but I don't know what the hell it is. Alright, so how much do you want to talk about your Buccaneers?
I mean, it wasn't a bad season, I don't think. It was, they won 2 games, and one of those was against Pittsburgh, who I hate, so that's awesome.
Pittsburgh could be going to the Super Bowl.
I seriously hope not. There's no way the AFC is going to make me happy. I've already accepted that.
See, I'm on the opposite side of that, though. There's not really... Who, besides the Ravens, I can't think of anyone I don't want to see.
I don't want to see New England. I don't want to see Pittsburgh. I wouldn't mind Denver, but they were there last year, so it'd be kind of boring.
I don't want Denver Seattle again. I don't like...
No.
Then again, well, no, it's just because the Seahawks
That's an
are better...
AFC West game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean... I'm okay with New England, actually. I shouldn't be because I'm a Bills fan, but... They're sort of like the Spurs. I want to see them get another championship, just to sort of be like, hey, we've been a dynasty this whole time. It wasn't just a 5-year stretch. So... That would be... Yeah.
I was going to say, I like the idea of the Spurs. I want them to be a team where they just kind of take the old men from every other NBA team and get them one championship before they're ushered into the retirement home.
Well, I don't think the Spurs are going to be able to do that, though. Isn't Duncan and, Bless you. Stop ruining my stream.
I'm allergic to you right now.
Stop being allergic to me. Duncan and... Who the hell's the other one? Not Tony Parker. Manu Ginobili. Aren't they both retiring?
I imagine so. They're either going to retire or die. I mean, like, they're 50.
Well, no, I mean, I think at this point... I think after this year, I think they were talking about this is going to be their last year.
Oh, that'd be... God, I mean, that'd be kind of sad. Like, I mean, I'm pretty solidly Mavs country up here, but that would be kind of sad to see the Spurs.
Yeah, I'm a Mavs fan, I guess, just because I like Cuban so much, and I've been agnostic NBA. I've been trying to get into it, and the Cavs... Or not the Mavericks are the only team I've really been rooting for. Mostly because I'm not allowed to like the Heat, even though I really like their uniforms.
You know, the Heat, I don't know if I hate them anymore because, like, it's not the big 3 anymore. And if Chris Bosh can get one by himself, like him and Wade, I mean, I guess I'm not... It's really confusing this season because I don't know if I can bring myself to hate the Cavaliers, but I definitely don't like LeBron James. I don't know if I can hate the Heat anymore because, you know, if they can do it without LeBron, then I guess they earned that. And, I mean, the Lakers are just awful this year. So
I mean, I respect LeBron, but I also have to take into account that he's only, like, 6 months older than I am. And it's sort of like, he's doing that, and meanwhile I'm sitting here, we're doing an NFL podcast talking about LeBron James. We've made it.
God, Russell Wilson is, like, he's not too much older than I am. And I'm like, damn, he's already been and won a Super Bowl. Like, that's...
And he's got a good chance at winning another one.
Right?
No,
I try not to think about it.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan, though. Huge. I've been a fan of him since he came out, though, because everyone was, like, talking about how he's an undersized guy who sort of runs around and makes plays happen. I'm like, Doug Flutie, he's back! And then I was pissed the Bills... I was hoping the Bills would draft him and skip him twice. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay had a crack at him once or twice too, and
he was a third round pick. Yeah. But the Bills were like, "Oh, we have Ryan Fitzpatrick. We don't need a quarterback." And no, you have to mute that. You don't get to turn it down to 10. You have to mute it completely.
Without being sneaky.
No, because I can hear the TV because it's right next to me.
You hear nothing.
I usually these podcasts I can just go through and not edit. Now I'm gonna have to edit all this out because someone can't be quiet over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love
See,
you.
if I had known she was going to be in the background, I would. Like, I told my girlfriend, like, well, I'm doing a sports stream. She's coming back in from Ohio, visiting her family for the holiday, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just call you when the show's over. And she's like, yeah, okay.
You're not sneaky. No, I mean, well, that's what I told her too. She's supposed to be in bed right now, and then she just randomly decided that she can't put down Diablo.
I haven't
Oh.
played in like 2 days.
Ooh.
Shut up.
I haven't played Madden in a month.
I can't remember the last time I played Tecmo Super Bowl. Back when I was supposed to be beating the game with every team, that didn't work out.
What did that? You did the Browns. Did you do anyone else after that?
Yeah, I did the Browns and the Lions, and I went like 13-3 with both of them.
Okay.
And then, because what was going on is like when I was doing the streams on YouTube, it was just in the middle of the game. Just decide, yeah, well, how about I don't record anymore, or let's just have
Yeah.
a black screen. I was
Nah,
like,
it's overrated.
That's fine. Yeah.
Is that sort of like when you saw me in real time rage quit Twitch?
Yeah. Yeah.
I still
pretty
got that
much.
footage. I have it. It's sitting in my folder as a reminder of why I don't stream. Plus, if I ever brought that series back, I could use that as the lead into it.
God. I've been putting entirely too much time into Pokemon. Nugget Bridge had like this post where it's just like all the speed tiers of like every relevant Pokemon for this season. And I was like, okay, I guess I can sort that and yeah, data points. Sure, let's just make a huge ass booklet for it.
Jesus
And
Christ. I can't
so
say anything. I have an Excel spreadsheet set up at work for me to print off so I can, like, when I do all my freaking breeding, I can write down what the moveset is supposed to be. Because I have just, like, boxes full of, like, 5 and 6 IV Pokemon that I never actually have used. Because I don't play competitive. So they sit there, I EV train them, and then I'm like, I need to get these guys up to level 50, and never do.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm on the one hand, like, I don't really have a 3DS right now because of stupidity. But, like, I guess I'm going to be on Pokemon Online or Pokemon Showdown all the time, so I may as well just not suck at that.
Yeah. I don't know.
So-
I mean, yeah, I've got my copy of Omega Ruby just sitting there. I think I have 3 badges.
Yeah.
It's the same freaking game with better graphics. It's
The Dallas
nothing.
Stars used one of the Pokemon battle themes at the game last night. It was funny. I was like, listening, he's like, yeah, this is familiar. What the shit? Oh, okay, but yeah. So, but no, yeah, Buccaneers. Great season. I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I've already got my tickets for Arizona.
okay.
And I'll be very disappointed and shocked if I don't see them there this season.
You know, this is a season recap, bro, not a season preview, and not a hopes and dreams of you last night fantasizing that Mike Glennon was actually a competent NFL quarterback.
If 30 other teams just decide, you know, what if we gave up for the rest of the season? We would be forced to have a Titans-Buccaneers Super Bowl. Like, they wouldn't have a choice.
Well, the Buccaneers or the Titans were the first team to give up. They've been tanking since week 12.
Well, I think there's Oakland, Tampa Bay. Let's have a rematch.
Yeah, I was gonna say Oakland's been playing the hardest. They're 3-3 over their last 6. So
Yeah, they I don't know. They're just they haven't been good since that Super Bowl run, like, at all. At least Tampa Bay had a couple of seasons in the late thousands, early tens that they were decent.
you had one good season with Freeman.
Yeah, it was 10 and
I can't
6.
say anything. I'm a Bills fan. Literally, the Music City Miracle has killed Buffalo.
Yeah.
We haven't recovered since '99, or that was early 2000, right? Yeah, that was January 2000. That was it. That was the last time.
No, the Bucks went to the playoffs again in 2007. They won the South, and then they went 10 and 6 in 2010. I think there's another division championship somewhere between there.
Yeah. Well, you still had
But-
remnants. Like, you still had Derek Brooks and Rondé Barber for a while.
Yeah.
Warren Sapp went to Oakland, but you had those two for a little while. John Lynch went to Denver.
Something like that.
Yeah, John Lynch went to Denver. So, I mean, you still had a couple of the guys on that defense. You had some leadership, and now you have, like... I mean, Gerald McCoy is a beast, but he's only, 26?
I hope he doesn't waste his... Like, if he has to be a Buck, like, I hope we stop being terrible so he
I mean,
gets the career he deserves.
You've got McCoy and you've got Mike Evans. So, I mean, there's some pieces there. And Vincent Jackson's not bad, but he's 31 now, I think.
Yeah.
So he's, you have a small window with him, but you've got some pieces there.
Yeah. Just get a quarterback that can throw it to them and an offensive line that can keep your quarterback from being on the ground.
Yeah. No, you're in a better situation than the Bills right now.
Yeah, what happened with Maroney? Did he just give up? What?
I've been trying to figure this one out because he had he had the out clause. That report came out about a week ago that after the season was over, he could opt out of the contract because of the ownership change. But no one was really no one thought he was going to do it. He had a 9-7 team, a top 5 defense, and apparently Kyle Orton retiring, that was the last straw for him.
That was an amazing retirement option too. Just I gotta go go to a meeting and just
nobody knew about it either. He just retired. He just up and went to the podium and said, "I'm done. I'm retiring." Nobody knew about it. There weren't reports. There was nothing, and then he was gone. And then Fred Jackson comes out and says it's not a good thing, but it's not really a bad thing either.
Yeah, it's I guess we're not much worse off, but we're not really better off.
It's well, Brian Hoyer is going to be a free agent, right?
I'm hoping he comes to Tampa Bay. That is my wish. That's on my wish list, is to get Mariota and then get Hoyer.
No, see, I've got my wish list, and I don't think it's going to happen, but you'd be a fan of this. I'm hoping that the New Orleans Saints realize that the team they built, because I was reading a story about them, and their roster construction is entirely based on Drew Brees and his window, and basically once he retires, they can self-destruct the team. Every contract is set up that way with the way they have the money set up, so they have no cap space, but they can release everybody, no problem. But they could start that this year, they could release Brees. So I'm hoping they release him and the Bills sign him, and that would solve all our problems, and also you wouldn't have to deal with New Orleans being good anymore. Now that they're good anyways.
Yeah, the entire South, it was one of the weird things watching the South run this year. Was just that on the one hand, close out those games and maybe win the division, but on the other hand, or just be terrible, load up while the rest of the division is kind of terrible, and be consistently good.
Atlanta went from, in that last game, if they had won the division, they could have either won the division, but because they lost, they get the 8th overall pick.
Yeah.
That is astounding to me. But no, I think Atlanta's dangerous if they hire the right coach. And I'm one of those. I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, and I didn't realize that I thought I was going outside the box, and apparently this is just logical. Is Rex Ryan going to Atlanta?
I've heard some stuff about that. It wouldn't surprise me.
What is his biggest knock when he was in New York is that he didn't have a quarterback because they got him Mark Sanchez and Geno Smith. You've already got Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. If the defense is terrible, if he can build that defense and he can just be a marginally better coach than Mike Smith, which is not very difficult to do. I shouldn't say much. Mike Smith will probably be introduced as the Bills head coach on Tuesday, but that's besides the point. Rex Smith can get that team to 10 or 11 wins next season. It's not out of the realm of possibility. They are a good offense. They just need a defense, and if they're coached up well, then you can make any player good.
I'm surprised Mike Smith lasted the whole season. After that Detroit Lions game, I was like, yeah, he's done.
Oh, we all knew he was done, but if he won the division, he might have stood a chance.
I don't know. I think they would have to go to at least the title game.
No, see, if they'd won the division, he would have had Arizona and Ryan Lindley up first. He could have won a playoff game and that might have saved his job.
No, because then that's the 4 seed, and then I'm taking the 3-1. Spoilers. So that sends them to Seattle.
Why is my Skype glitching out on me?
Know that he outcoaches Pete Carroll.
No.
Okay.
Did it disappear?
No, you just froze for a second in this intense, pensive thought.
Yeah, no, I was in deep thought. No, I was watching my Skype glitch out.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah, he wouldn't have won in the second round. I don't know. It'd be difficult to fire a coach after getting to the playoffs and winning a game. Yeah. And essentially doubling his career playoff win total. But
I guess.
What else, So any of the coaches besides Marone, like no one was really a surprise, right? Like Trestman going is kind
The
of
only one that surprises me is the one that didn't go. Like, I'm shocked that Coughlin's getting another season, honestly.
yeah.
Like, I think New York's kind of spinning in their wheels, and just because Washington is very consistently bad, that they've kind of had that buffer.
Well, if you
It's
look
like,
at if you look at like the old school organizations, which the Bears used to be part of and aren't anymore, like the Steelers, Tomlin could have gone 6-10 this year and he would have kept his job. Coughlin, they look at what he was doing during the season, and that team was changing. You look at that Week 1 loss to Detroit, and they were abysmal. And then they're going toe-to-toe with Philadelphia by the end of the season, who, even though Mark Sanchez was quarterback, was still a really good team. So they're building something, and they don't want to disrupt the continuity, because that's the worst thing you could possibly do. Eli Manning's only got a couple years left. Coughlin deserves at this point to go out on his own terms. He's got 2 Super Bowl wins. One of them over an undefeated Patriots team. They've always been a patient franchise. They have no reason to really kick him out, but I think if he goes 6-10 again next year, he's done. I think they pretty much said that in the press conference, but they got a chance to go 10-6 next year. You know, they got the AFC East, which is they could go 3-1, you know, because the Bills will not have, who knows who the hell's playing quarterback and who's coaching them. And then you got the Dolphins, who are, Joe Philbin should have been fired, but he should have been fired last year. And then the Jets, which is going to be in turmoil.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, Geno Smith will get another shot because they don't have the pick to get a quarterback, and I don't know. So they could go 3-1 there. I don't know who they're playing for the other division, but
The East next year has the South.
there you go. That's 7-1 right there out of conference, or out of division. And then you're playing the third place schedule, so you're going to get the Vikings and you're going to get the 49ers. Which you split those, that's 8-2. 2 games against the Redskins, there's 2 right there. That's 10-6. So it's with that schedule, they got a chance to go 10-6.
Oh, okay, so we're going... Okay. Yeah. I guess I do get what you're saying, though, with that, the continuity thing. Like, that's the one thing I was pissed off. Man, I am just not good at this. I was upset about with the people on Bucks Nation. It was like, oh, yeah, we just need to fire Lovie Smith. It's like, or you let their coach kind of build something there.
Yeah, I mean,
this...
like, I look at Gus Bradley, and everyone's like, how come Gus Bradley didn't get fired? He's got a 5-year window. He's realistically got a 5-year window, because Khan is a very, like, patient owner, and he knew, like, he's been on the air before and said that. He knows this is going to be a process. They have nothing there. It's not Gus Bradley's fault. The defense plays well at times, but he doesn't have a lot of the pieces that he needs to make that defense successful. So, Gus Bradley, they go 2-14 again next year, and he'll probably still have a job. Lovie Smith, if he had been fired after it's either one and done or you give him 3 years. That's my whole thinking. Like, so he didn't do it this year. They put high hopes on him. They didn't realize how bad the team was. I mean, this was a dark horse Super Bowl pick. Not just from you. This is from other people who were thinking they were going to be really good. And they have a terrible division, but, you know, I'm looking at these rookie quarterbacks, you know, either Winston or Mariota. Winston's an idiot. And you look how well that did with Tim Tebow. And then Mariota is almost Tim Tebow, only fragile. Like, Tim Tebow could plow through some people, and Mariota is, you know, like, he's built like you, basically. Only, I think, shorter.
Yeah, what's Mariota? Is he? He's 6.
Is he 6? Okay.
Yeah, it's like I'm 6 foot tall. I'm like
I think, yeah, I think he might be a little heavier than you, but
a little bit.
a little bit, hopefully.
I mean, if not, more power to him.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
God save him if he goes to the NFL weighing as much as I do, but
Yeah, I mean, so he, you know, either one of them. I mean, I think Winston will be the better quarterback, but Lovie Smith might be more inclined to take Mariota. Because a defensive-minded coach won't mind taking a running quarterback. Like, Rex had no problem with Geno Smith or Michael Vick because they run all the time, and he doesn't care as long as they get the points.
Yeah.
You know?
I think at this point, there's, at least from what I've seen people talking, like, I don't know if Light and Lovey can pick anything other than Mariota. Like,
well, there's way too much stock put into the pro days and the combine and stuff like that, so there's a lot to be seen. For all you know, I mean, there could be another quarterback that comes out of nowhere and is a top 10 pick. That's just how it always works out.
Yeah, I
never heard of Blake Bortles before last year. Like, I heard Bridgewater and I heard Manziel, and then randomly Bortles is the second overall pick. So there's always one of those guys who sort of sneaks up out of nowhere.
Yeah, but that's also Tennessee. I don't know how smart the Titans front off. Wait, Bortles? No, that's Jacksonville.
That's Jacksonville.
What? Yeah, I was like, I'm getting them backwards. Like, hang on.
Yeah, no, they're essentially the same team, only Jacksonville's more fun to watch. Which is sad.
Tennessee's got much nicer uniforms on the eye. Much cleaner.
There's a reason they've had the same uniforms for, 20 years now almost?
They moved in 97? Yeah, almost
97, they moved there, and they had 1 year as the Oilers, so 98 those uniforms came out, so yeah.
Yeah.
Solid amount of time. 17 years.
I mean, all Jacksonville needs to do is just pick a color for the helmet, and they'll be... Or just go back to the old ones. I like the idea of the black ones where it hits the light and it's kind of a teal color. That was nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always hated the Jacksonville color scheme. I think that's just me.
It's very 90s. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Any use of teal, that kind of teal, as opposed to like the Dolphins light green, aqua sort of deal.
At least the Dolphins, you could date that back to like the 60s and 70s and just be like, it's just retro. That's just their old school uniforms.
Right.
You know?
So what was your biggest surprise and biggest disappointments of this season?
My biggest surprise was that I nailed a pick with such accuracy like the Bears. But other than that, I think my biggest surprise is just Tampa Bay going 2-14. I mean, I picked them to get the to contend for a wild card spot. So, and I think my biggest disappointment is EJ Manuel. But again, you're going to get complete bias out of me. Just, I thought he could be competent. I didn't think he'd be that bad where Kyle Orton's throwing no touchdowns, 3 picks, and they don't even think about bringing Manuel back in.
Yeah.
No, I mean, biggest disappointment. I don't know. I mean, I can't think of anything that didn't really play out the way I thought it would. Like, there weren't, the Cowboys are the obvious surprise. I thought they'd be 3-13, and they end up, I'm rooting for them. Even though I'm supposed to hate the Cowboys, I'm rooting for them. But disappointment, I guess the Saints, because I picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
The Cowboys were my... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's just... I just thought the Saints would be a little bit better. And especially when you think about a 7-8-1 division winner, you would think the Saints could have at least gone 8-8. But... And at times they look like they could go 12-4, and other times you would think they'd be 3-13.
Yeah, because, lest we forget, they did beat down Green Bay. What was that, a Monday night game?
It was either Sunday night or Monday night, but that's when I came out and said that I thought they'd run the table and go 11-5 or whatever the hell it was at the time.
And I said you were nuts, and I was right.
Well, okay, beating down Green Bay like that, and look at what they had for the rest of the season besides playing the Bills, like they were pretty much on fire the rest of the season. Even if they play they play like crap on the road and they still win. So,
my biggest disappointment was actually Cleveland, just because they were 7-4, and then just kind of fell off the map there. And I don't agree with Mike Pettin when they were 7-6 and still in the hunt for a playoff spot. I think that was a week too early to play Manziel.
See, I'm on the opposite opinion of that. I think that was a week too late. Because they wanted Hoyer out. Like, they wanted to find any and all excuse not to play Hoyer because they didn't want to pay him. Like, he basically wanted, the $12-13 million a year, plus he wanted Manziel out of town. So I think when he started struggling like that, they should have just left Manziel in and just gone about it. Because Manziel's terrible, which I figured he would be. But you got to figure out what you got, and now they can actually go through. They could release Manziel if they want and re-sign Hoyer and just continue with that. that's not out of the realm of possibility, because I think that's what the owner was hinting at, is that they are strongly considering getting rid of Manziel already.
Man, I mean, maybe. I think they'll hold on to him. I mean, I don't know what you do with that quarterback situation. Just that when you're still in the playoff chase in a division that competitive, which you were leading, like that's what frustrates me. Like it wasn't just like they were hanging around there. That was for a little bit the Browns division, and they just became the Cleveland Browns.
And I think how much worse it would have been if they had beaten Jacksonville in that game, and they would have had a what is that? They'd be like a 1.5 game lead in that division too.
Yeah, they would have been. What did that put them at? 8-3 heading into the. Yeah, at least they would have been a 500 team. I noticed the Browns are the only team that have not won a division since I've been alive.
See, I don't know anything about pre-99. Oh no, they didn't. They got a wild card that year. They went to the playoffs.
Yeah, the last division they won was 88 or 89, and I was born in 1990.
Yeah, I've been alive long enough to
see everybody.
See everybody win a division at this point. I'm trying to think who hasn't. No, wait, yeah, no, I've seen Jacksonville be 14-2.
Yeah, that year that Jacksonville and Carolina almost went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I've seen. I think my favorite years were freaking the 12-4 Colts being a wild card team because Tennessee was 13-3, or Jacksonville was 14-2.
Yeah,
back when the AFC South used to be really good.
Man, I was thinking like going back to the three division setup to help some of that turnover, and I was just thinking about like the Carolina Panthers used to be in the NFC West. Just how little sense that made.
Yeah, well, that's expansion for you. I mean, if you think about it, like going back to those old realignments, the Arizona Cardinals would be in the NFC East.
Yeah.
Which, you know, they wouldn't have won that. They would have been pretty good though because they beat everyone in that division. The Colts would go back to the AFC East, and that would be I would kill myself because then I'd have to deal with Andrew Luck for the next 13 years. And then Seattle would go to the AFC West, and then we get Denver versus Seattle all the time.
They'd keep Seattle in the NFC if they went back to 6 divisions. Because
it'd
still be 16.
If they redrew it, I don't know. See, if they were going to realign again, I want the Cowboys out of the NFC East. That irritates me so freaking much. And I don't care about the rivalries. Like, I really don't.
Yeah, but that'd be a hard sell to get them out of the like, not 2 games against... I mean, you get the 2 games against Green Bay, which would be big, because I assume if you go to 3, you put them in the Central then. Or do you move them all the way to the West?
Well, I don't know. It would depend on how everything shakes up. I mean, the NFC West would have an open spot because you wouldn't put Carolina back in there. You'd put them in the NFC East. So you could put the Cowboys out in the West. And if anyone's going to the Central, I would move St. Louis. Yeah,
St. Louis would be a West.
But then Tampa Bay would go to the East too, and then it's all confusing.
Yeah, because whatever it'd be like, 16 teams, so it'd have to be 6-5-5.
Yeah, so you'd have basically the East
minus Dallas. Yeah, I don't know, but it would just help. Like we were talking earlier about the same 4-6 teams in the AFC every time.
Yeah.
Just if you get rid of some of those, if you get rid of one of those division spots and open that up for another wild card, that kind of helps.
Well, the one thing it would do was that it would sort out the Colts, because the Colts go to the playoffs by going 6-0 against their division and 500 against the rest of the NFL. So
yeah,
because I think Andrew Luck is one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league right now, but I think the rest of the team is terrible. And didn't you pick them to go to the Super Bowl before the season, right?
Yeah, my NFC champion is not there. My Super Bowl pick was Colts 49ers. And I had Colts 21-17, I think.
We're not doing very good on these things. I have the Broncos as winning the Super Bowl, so I don't like my odds there.
All right, now that we've wandered onto the playoffs finally, let's see here. So we'll go ahead and start with the AFC. Or do we want to do this round by round, game by game, or do we just want to like pick what?
I'd say let's start off with what the games we already have right now. Okay. So Saturday's games. So today's Thursday. So yeah, Saturday's games we got what? Carolina hosting Arizona. That's the early game.
Yeah, Arizona at Carolina. Carolina's a 6.5-point favorite, and then so we'll just start there. So the 11-5 Cardinals at the 7-8-1 Panthers. Panthers 6.5-point favorites. I mean, I've got Carolina. They've won They've won like 4 in a row.
4 in a row, yeah.
5 or
yeah,
they
went. They went 06. Like they went 06-1, and then won 4 in a row to get into the playoffs. God, see, I always call him Crybaby Cam. I really like his play on the field. I just not when he's losing though. Oh man, but I really like this.
I hate the guy, but like I hate him, and then like I watch some of his gameplay, and I'm like, damn it, you could be a Buccaneer, and I wouldn't hate you.
That's what I mean. It's sort of like, well, I look at him and I'm just like, Jay Cutler's still in the league, so I can't hate you more than him. Jay Cutler is going to be a Buffalo Bill next season, so you're
just cursing yourself.
I got over Terrell Owens being a Buffalo Bill. I can deal with anyone but Adrian Peterson, so we're good. God, I really like the job Bruce Arians did, but I do think third string quarterback, you can't overcome that. No. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Panthers in this one. I would love to see an upset though, but yeah. I think Carolina's got this.
Yeah,
I'm remembering to write down my picks for once because I always forget who the hell I picked.
Yeah, I have like on one of these drawing pads. Oh yeah, I do. I actually have my entire playoff tree here, so I'll just go off of that and see if I changed my mind.
I printed up a bracket and I left it out in my car, so that's a good place for it. Yeah. I have a printout of the standings and like of all my picks for the season, and
I'm gonna be more organized about that next season. Like my picks, my video time. I want to do something where I like take a bunch of stats where it's like team. If you were on like a win streak heading into that game, what's the win percentage of teams in 2014, and just like start compiling that. So you can make all these like.
So you're basically
estimates.
Well, good. Just check out the freaking Vegas spreads
for football.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, there's going to be an interesting game because will that Arizona defense actually show up? Because they haven't. I think they've sort of gotten so frustrated with not having a quarterback that they gave up. It really seems that way. So,
yeah. I'm just surprised. Like, I don't know how far we've ever got with the team who's hosting the Super Bowl in the playoffs. So,
I think Tampa Bay had a Super Bowl while the Buccaneers were good. So I think they've made the playoffs before. I just don't think they've never gotten to the conference championship. I think that was the stat I saw.
Yeah, because I know Tampa Bay hosted in 2000 when it was Baltimore, New York, and the Bucs lost in the wild card or division round to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because they do that 2 years in a row, and then Dungy gets fired.
Which is, I love dumb coaching moves.
That's like there's a friend of mine at North Texas, and we're just both convinced, like, man, if they just had not done that, Tampa Bay would still be a contender.
I mean, Dungy got his ring, so it's cool.
Yeah, and with the team that I don't hate, so that's fine. Actually, over Lovie Smith, that's I didn't make that connection until just now. That's weird.
That's why I love everyone talking about a Seattle New England Super Bowl. I'm like, hey, remember that time when Pete Carroll was in the Super Bowl with New England last time? That didn't go so well for New England, so stop rooting for that.
So we both got Carolina winning that one.
We got Carolina.
Right. Then the night game is the 10-6 Ravens at the 11-5 Steelers. Pittsburgh is a 3-point favorite. I picked Pittsburgh. I don't know why. I kept expecting them to kind of fall off this season. For whatever reason, they just didn't feel like they were as good as past seasons, maybe.
See, and I was looking at them the whole time, and I was thinking, wow, I didn't think this team would be that good. Why are they surprising me? And then I had actually picked them to win the division in the preseason. This shows why I need to write stuff down, so I remember my picks. No, I mean, I'm picking Pittsburgh as well. This also goes to, I'm going to root hardcore against the Ravens forever now.
Yeah.
because of this
I was
whole
gonna say
Ray
it's
Rice
part of your
thing.
holy crusade.
Until Bisciotti's out of there, I've sort of forgiven the rest of the front office. It's just the owner is a douchebag. Like, or at least for the rest of the season. I mean, I don't hate Flacco. I don't hate any of them. But I just... Having Bisciotti celebrating a Super Bowl after the way the season started, it would just make me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I think they're a really good team, but I think they have no secondary, and all Big Ben does now is torch people. Did you see his final stats on the season?
No, I didn't. Let's...
4,952 yards. Him and Drew Brees both tied 4,952 yards.
Wait, exactly?
Ben Roethlisberger, and Drew Brees had the exact same number of yards. Drew Brees led the league in passing yards in a year with Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning all being healthy for 16 games.
But Drew Brees also played the Buccaneers and Falcons 4 times.
Oh no,
total.
this is nothing about Drew Brees. It's interesting that they tied, but
yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger, his career high before this, I think it was like 4,200 yards, and he almost passes for 5,000. The Steelers are exactly what the Bears were trying to be, which is convert to an offensive system and sort of not play as well a defense. But Pittsburgh still has a halfway decent defense.
Yeah.
So
It's freezing in this apartment.
You're probably freezing at 82 degrees, meanwhile I'm sitting here in 60, sweating.
It's probably it's probably mid-60s in here. My roommate doesn't cut the heat on like ever because we're poor.
Yeah, I think it's 18 degrees outside here, so 60 to me is a tropical paradise. No, I mean, yeah, I'll continue my Holy Crusade. I don't care, but it's just I like a lot of what the Ravens do. I like the fact that Justin Forsett can step in and be an improvement for running back for them. I think John Harbaugh is one of the more underrated coaches in the NFL. I think his brother was getting too much. It's like John Harbaugh has been really good.
San Francisco fumbled that big time.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like why Jerry Jones fired Jimmy Johnson. Jerry Jones wanted all the credit for the Super Bowls, and Jimmy Johnson wanted his part of it. So it's the same thing. Yeah, I think this is more. Everyone keeps talking about Trent Baalke, but I think the stories that I'm hearing, it sounds like it's Jed York. He was the problem. He didn't want to deal with it. So whoever they're going to get as a coach next year, that team can go 10-6 and it'll be a disappointment because they've got so much talent that you
I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on the new guy.
Yeah.
Because, man, if he doesn't get in there and produce immediately, Jed York is just going to look like a fool.
He already looks like a fool, so I don't think that's...
Well, he'll have to admit that he looks like a fool.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is you're going into that team, it's a lot of talent, but you've also got two of the top 5 coaches in the NFL in your division, in Arians and Pete Carroll. So it's going to be tough.
Who's the Rams coach right now?
Jeff Fisher.
Right.
He's got longevity, but then I think the stat, he's got one season over 500 in the last 16 seasons. Or something ridiculous like that.
He was on the other side of the Titans when they lost the Super Bowl to the Rams. That's
Yeah.
weird. I want to just keep finding weird coach.
We'll do this again next week, and I'll just look, and you'll have a bulletin board in the background of just with red strings connecting everyone.
You'll be able to track it.
No, it'd be really weird if what's his face? If Doug Marrone went to go coach the Jacksonville Jaguars, where Mike Mularkey went after he quit on the Bills in 2004.
Illuminati. Just triangles everywhere.
That's a square.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this. I don't believe in the Illuminati, obviously.
And then the Sunday games, we've got Cincinnati 10-5-1 at Indianapolis 11-5. Colts are 3.5-point favorites. I went with Cincinnati on that. Wait, did I? Yeah, I went with Cincinnati. The Colts haven't looked good in their last couple of games. They got murdered by Dallas and then took forever to put away. Was it Houston that they had last week?
The week before they had Houston.
Okay, so...
Last week they had Tennessee.
Right. Wait, hold on. No, it's Cowboys in 16. So it's Houston, Cowboys.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah. And they just haven't looked really good. And either of those games. I know they haven't. They were really just fortunate that Houston kind of had a really slow start to the season, and Cincinnati's been playing.
No. They didn't have a slow start. They had a slow middle. They started off 3-0, or 3-1, or something like that.
Right.
And then they fell off. Then they went to 3-6 or something, and then they came up.
And Indianapolis was kind of slagging, like just enough to kind of keep the Houston in contention and kind of fight for it.
Indy got the draw. They started off at Denver and then home for Philadelphia, so they went 0-2 to start the season. No, I'm picking the Bengals in this one, even though, and this has nothing to do with my the opposite Holy Crusade. This isn't anything about that. I genuinely think Cincinnati's a better team overall. Andrew Luck is the best player that's going to be on the field in this game, but I said it earlier, I don't think the Colts are a very good team other than Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton. And there's probably a couple other players. I think Vontae Davis had a pretty decent season, but I think Cincinnati can take them. And I really do think that the Colts are just, at least with the NFC South, I can look at those teams and say they beat the hell out of each other to get to the division title. Indianapolis sort of just got a red carpet laid out for them. And besides Houston, no one really gave them a game. So, yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati, even though I don't like Dalton. But I don't think he has to play well. I think he just has to game manager it. All he has to do is throw 2 interceptions or less, and they should be in good shape.
Yeah,
but then again,
as long as Dalton doesn't lose the game for them.
Yeah, exactly. I think Andrew Luck, I don't know, he's scary, though, because he can just turn around, and he doesn't care. He'll chuck that ball 50 yards down the field, and he'll throw a pick 6 on that play, and then he'll do it again the next play, and he doesn't care. Which is the scariest aspect of his game, is that he doesn't dwell on an interception, like a big interception.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think this will be the best game out of the playoffs. It'll be one of these 2 Sunday games will be the best game out of this round.
Yeah, the best. I'm just saying. Of course, the next one's going to be the best one. The 11-5 Detroit Lions at the 12-4 Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are 6.5-point favorites. I don't understand how Sue is not suspended.
I didn't understand how he got suspended in the first place. I understand, like, this is the NFL, once again, even at week 17, we can't escape them being idiots. They suspend him for something that and I heard this on the radio, if J.J. Watt does this, if Marcel Darius does it, Gerald McCoy, one of them does it, maybe a, like, $5,000 fine, but because it's Ndamukong Suh, they suspend him for a game because of his past history, but they came out and said that the past history had nothing to do with it. If they had just said it was about the past history and they were trying to set a standard for him specifically, the suspension would have been held up. But because they said it wasn't about past history, that one event is not enough to suspend him for. That's what it comes down to.
And what I think it is what it was for me is that it's a very clear, it's an intentional thing. Like, I don't know how you try to divorce the past history from it. The dude's a dirty player. Like, one thing I like about the NHL is whenever they suspend someone, they do like this whole video where they analyze the play and say why this was a penalty, why this was a suspensionable offense, and then they're like, and because of this person's past history, we vote to ban him for 2 games and lose this much of his salary or whatever. I like that. When I'm looking at the play, it's intentional. Like, I saw some Lions fans like, well, it was an accidental step, and I'm thinking, there's nothing making him go backwards, and you can like you pulling up the GIF of it.
Yeah, I don't have football. Like, I don't have, I don't know how to spell his name.
It's just like ND Sue.
There we go. Yeah, I don't have cable, so I haven't seen any football this year.
And like, he doesn't have like any significant backwards momentum. And then he's, like, his first foot kind of brushes against Rodgers, and then he takes another step. If there's nothing on a football field that resembles a leg. So if you accidentally stepped on someone, your initial thought is going to be to turn around, at least slightly, because if you don't know who's behind you, that could be one of your teammates. He's very well aware that's Rodgers there.
Is that... Okay, Steps back. Oh, yeah, okay, I see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and he lifted the foot, too. Yeah, that's definitely intentional.
Yeah.
That's without a doubt intentional.
He should definitely be gone.
No, see, again, I'm trying to be against that because I'm rooting for the Cowboys in this one, so I would like to see him gone. But I'm throwing that out. A lot of that kind of stuff is just sort of part of the game. You hear old football players talk about, like, biting each other's fingers and gouging eyes in the piles for fumbles. Stuff like that happens, and Ndamukong Suh is just stupid and does it on national TV. Or no, that wasn't a nationally televised game, but that was, like, one of the biggest games of the day. And he's one of the biggest players on that field, figuratively and literally. It's just, I don't know why you would do that there to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think if he had done the same thing and that was Tom Brady, he'd be gone for sure.
If he had... Oh, yeah, I'm just looking at the Dominic Raiola one now. That's a stomp. That's like... I understand, like, he probably would have stepped on him anyways, but you can just tell, like, right there, you see the leg, his knee lifted up to his chest. Like, that you suspend someone for. And Ndamukong Suh, that step probably would have happened anyways. Like, that second step probably could have happened because you can sort of see his momentum dying down, but then he held it, and it's like, okay, dude.
It's like...
I mean, I would have been fine with either ruling, but I think where the NFL did, once again, is they screwed themselves over by saying that past history was not going to be involved in this, when clearly that was part of why he got suspended. Uh-oh, we glitched again. There we go.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm just watching it, and I'm just like, that's a suspension. If you're going to suspend him for that, then you had it right there. And someone who's been suspended and fined for stuff like this in the past, I don't care whether it's a playoff game or not, you gotta, like, they gave Zdeno Chara pass for that, for going into the stands. That's, I flipped sports.
That's fine.
And the Bruins fans were just like, oh, well, it's a playoff game. You don't want to jeopardize what could be a great Game 7 because you suspended the best players. Like, maybe you shouldn't go into the freaking stands. Maybe you don't break the rules.
Yeah, that's the one argument I never got. It's like, well, it's a playoff game, and it's like, well, then...
You should be smarter.
Yeah, that game against the Packers there, that was a huge game. That was for the division. That was the difference between the 2 seed and the 6 seed. That was almost as big a deal. So, I don't see how they suspend Dominic Raiola for that game, and that's a huge playoff ramifications game. So I don't understand, like, that aspect of it. Like, I mean, I still think it just goes down to past history was obviously the driving factor behind the suspension, and the NFL refused to come out and say it was about that. When that's how discipline works. You keep screwing up, you get harsher suspensions. That's why Josh Gordon got 10 games this year. So,
yeah.
And that was the biggest argument why Ray Rice only got 2 was because he had never really been suspended before. So you have to take past it. If you're taking it into account, especially for something like that on someone who has done something like this before, who was it, Anthony Garrode, who he stepped on the face of, the Dallas center?
Yeah. No. What was his name? It's Spencer. Was it Anthony Spencer?
See, I thought it was far enough back where it was Garrode.
Because I saw something about that. I'm testing. Am I still on here? I haven't done Skype before, so I don't know if I disappeared when I flipped over.
You're up there. Oh, no, you're up there.
Oh, no, I'm not here anymore?
No, you are. It's the webcam. It's not going off of your computer screen.
Oh, okay.
Mine is going off my computer screen because I'm screen capturing it.
Oh, okay. So... Anthony Spencer... Cowboys not faced by Sue news. Just list of people stomped by Sue.
There probably is like a .com. Just SueStomp.com. And if there's not, can we make that?
Yeah, just like Seattle's defensive end defends Ndamukong Suh. Everyone gets stepped on. Shut up, Seattle. That's what's been infuriating me. I've been seeing Seahawks fans try to play the underdog card. You're the number 1 seed in the NFC, and you're the defending champions. How are you the underdog in any situation?
I don't know.
Everything's just talking about Sue not being suspended.
Maybe if you'd stop stepping on players in Ndamukong Suh, we can figure out who you stepped on.
Meanwhile, there's up under that is Suzy Sue, who is a Korean American.
Yeah, it was Andre. Andre Garode.
Was it okay?
I thought it was Anthony Garode for some reason, but it's Andre Garode.
Has been fined a total of $286,000 and $875 for 7 player safety violations and suspended once for 2 games.
Why didn't we just look on his Wikipedia?
Yeah, I don't know. I just pulled it up.
I just realized, like, they have all this stuff on there.
Omaha Steaks. Performing a throat slash during the game against the Buccaneers. Yeah, real big. Making fun of the Bucs last season. They were so good. Yeah, stomped on Garode's head. There it is.
Yeah. 2011.
Oh, wait, no. Drew parallel between Stu's actions on, for those of Albert Hainsworth, who stomped on Garode's head. They won twice?
I don't know. Oh no, wait, Sue. Okay, Sue. It was in a Packers game again. He just stomps on people in Packers games. It was Dietrich Smith.
Yeah, I remember that one because he got thrown out of the game, and I was with the family. I was like, "Oh, come on, he didn't even do anything." And I saw the replay, and I was like,
"I guess he kind of did something there." Yeah,
it was like it's kind of guilty there.
Yeah, no, Hainsworth. That was the one. I knew Garode got stomped at one point. For some reason, I thought it was Sue. This is how dirty of a player he is. We credit everything with him.
Yeah, just anything. He was behind the Malice at the Palace when the Pacers and Pistons went up in the stands. It was him.
Yeah, that's it.
Beat everybody.
He was totally on the Pacers. Or no, he was on the Pistons. I'm sorry, same city, so he was on the Pistons. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm going with Dallas there. I still think the Cowboys will be able to do a big enough commitment to the run. They'll go and soften up the Detroit front seven, and Roma could go ahead and start picking the stuff apart with Bryant, Witten, Williams. Am I thinking Williams? Am I going too far in the past? Aikman and Michael Irvin will get a couple of catches.
Terrence Williams is the other wide receiver.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, it's Des Bryant, Terrence Williams, and then you've got Jason Witten at tight end. I don't know. I think we might see a little more of Randall in this game, the backup running back, because I think DeMarco Murray's about to freaking die.
I keep wanting Lance Dunbar to be big just because he went to North Texas.
Did he? Yeah, there we go. We got the connection.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm taking Dallas in this game, and I have bad news for you, Eric. I am never good at picking playoff games. So
we've agreed on all four.
All four. So you're...
I mean, that's fine because that means Pittsburgh drops out. So that's at least one down.
So good news. We're going to have the Detroit Lions going to Seattle. And then the Seattle player can just hug Ndamukong Suh the whole game because he feels so bad for him.
He's like, I understand. And then he gets stepped on.
Yeah.
He goes off on the side of the field and steps on him. Okay, so then we have the same four for the division round then. That'd be Seattle, or Carolina at Seattle.
Yeah.
Dallas at Green Bay. Cincinnati at New England. And then Pittsburgh at Denver. So let's go ahead and go back to the AFC. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Or no, Cincinnati at New England. New England, I mean, I don't see how Cincinnati... the only team in the AFC that I think can beat New England is Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, that's what... Because I listen to a lot of Bill Simmons podcasts, and that's what he keeps saying. As a huge Patriots fan, he is afraid of the Steelers and nobody else in the playoffs. Well, from the AFC side. No, I'm taking
Yeah.
I'm taking New England in this game. If that's what happens, I'm picking New England because just Gronkowski, unless he gets injured, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I think they might win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, I mean, Patriots stomped them last time they played. I have a hard time believing that won't be a repeat performance. Because then you're telling me that the defenses are evenly matched, with maybe Cincinnati being a little better. The offensive weapons are about equal because A.J. Green's has sort of not been himself this year. He's been injured and whatnot. So it comes down to quarterback versus quarterback, and you're giving me either Tom Brady, one of the greatest playoff quarterbacks of all time, versus Andy Dalton, who would just be coming off his first ever playoff win. Yeah, I'm taking Tom Brady, so...
Oh, that's the thing I've been hearing. If Marvin Lewis doesn't win against Indianapolis, that he would get fired.
No.
Because he keeps blowing it in the postseason.
No. Mike Brown is a notoriously way too patient owner. If this is any other franchise, Marvin Lewis gets canned 2 years ago. But, no, I mean, yeah, what is he now? He's like 0-6 in the postseason now for...
Something like that.
0-5
Yeah.
or 0-6. This is his sixth playoff game, I think, so... No, I think Marvin Lewis, I think he's safe. Like, he is safe. They were, half a game away from winning the division. It's...
Which would have got him a first-round loss to Baltimore.
No, because they could have beaten Baltimore.
You think they beat Baltimore?
They beat them twice this year. They swept them. Both of them were really close games, and I think the second one ended on a controversial call, but they beat Baltimore twice.
I think I trust Flacco more.
Oh, I absolutely trust Flacco more
than Dalton.
But I think Cincinnati is overall a better team. I just think Baltimore is a better coach team. So it would have been a really even matchup, but I don't think it would have necessarily been a loss for them, but it would have been tough. And I think...
So we both sit New England.
New England, definitely.
Damn it. All right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm looking at the playoff streams. Like, the AFC is just gonna make me sad. I already know it. I'm gonna hate this Super Bowl. I've been too fortunate lately.
Well, you also you hate a lot more teams than I do. Like I said, in this playoff field, the only team I really am rooting against is Baltimore. Other than that, anyone else in this playoff field wins the Super Bowl. Outside of maybe, I don't know. No, there's not really anyone I'm rooting against.
Like,
I can't even say Carolina. I can't root against if Carolina's winning the Super Bowl at the end of this year.
That's the first Super Bowl. I'd be excited.
Not their first Super Bowl. The 7-8-1 team, who everyone says shouldn't make the playoffs, and they win the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that one. So I want to see something like, if I had to pick a Super Bowl, I would want to see either Arizona, Carolina, or Detroit out of the NFC, and then I guess Cincinnati is Cincinnati the only one who hasn't won one? Yeah.
Yeah. Cincinnati. Yeah, Baltimore has 2, Pittsburgh is 6, New England has 3, Denver has a couple. Indianapolis has technically 2 if you go back to their Baltimore days. So yeah, it's just Cincinnati.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted something where, it's their, like, whoever wins, we're going to have our first Super Bowl. Like, that'd be cool. You haven't had that in a while.
We had that last year with Seattle, dude.
No, like, the two teams, the two teams,
I
never
follow.
won. Yeah.
When was the last time we had that?
Like the 70s. Wikipedia.
I'm actually usually good at this stuff. Let's see.
The last time we had a Super Bowl where it was two teams
Cincinnati, San Francisco the first time, I would think. Didn't San Francisco win their first Super Bowl against Cincinnati?
Yeah, but let's see if there's one more recently. Let's see here. Both teams were making their first Super Bowl appearance. That was the first time since Super Bowl III. I think there was one more recent than that, though, I thought. Let me see.
Rams, Titans?
No, the Rams went in the 70s.
Are you sure about that? Because we're talking about wins in the Super Bowl, right? Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about, it was Bill's first appearance. So no matter who won, it'd be the...
Oh, okay. I thought you just meant first win. We don't have a lot of teams left to do that.
Okay.
All right,
There we go.
good job, Scott. I opened up Safari, and that was the end of it. I just need to use my phone if I need to check stuff.
It was the '85 Super Bowl when it was the Chicago Bears and the New England Patriots.
See, there was an obvious one. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about two teams that haven't won a Super... So wait, did the Los Angeles Rams get that one?
No, they lose to
Oakland, right? Was it Oakland?
Miami. I think Miami. Let me flip.
Oakland beat Philly in their first appearance. Philly's first appearance.
It's freaking Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Of course, it's Pittsburgh. It's the late '70s Super Bowl.
All right. So yes, I mean that was the last game we had where it was two teams who had never won the Super Bowl matched up. It was '99. Yeah. I mean we're gonna have a bunch of teams where they've been to the Super Bowl before.
Yeah.
Every single team in the playoffs this year has been to a Super Bowl.
Detroit hasn't.
Oh yeah, except for Detroit. Yeah, because Carolina went
Detroit,
to one.
Cincinnati would be perfect.
Cincinnati's
Except
been
Dallas has to lose.
Yeah.
Cincinnati only goes to the Super Bowl when San Francisco's there.
Yeah.
So
it's sort of like the Bills only go to the Super Bowl when the NFC East is there, which should be vague enough to get them there more often. But
I like that. Like y'all didn't have to deal with Washington. That was the only one. They could have all took turns.
It was Philadelphia and Arizona.
Oh, Philadelphia, yeah, because Philadelphia's.
Yeah, technically Arizona, but they weren't really playing football between like 1956 to 2007. So
I just don't understand why you could be that bad. You'd be decent for a couple of years, or solid. We're kind of doing it right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they made the playoffs in '99, and they actually won a playoff game.
That would not be kind.
No, that's why I'm not turning my video back on this time.
Okay, then let's go ahead and just wrap these playoff picks up. So we'll just go rapid fire here and call it a night. So we picked New England. So Denver, Pittsburgh. I picked Pittsburgh.
I have Denver as my Super Bowl pick. I have to keep riding with them.
Okay, and then so I guess you're going Denver over New England.
No, absolutely not. I'm not that stupid. I just have to ride to them until it's an obvious wall. Pittsburgh is so up and down. It could go either way. I think Pittsburgh could beat them, but I also think Pittsburgh could be the 2014 like freaking Titans and just not show up. Yeah.
So I'm in Francis's call. Why? Okay. I got a text message. Okay, you're not. Okay. So I had Pittsburgh. I actually didn't pick this AFC Championship game. I just kind of crossed both names out.
Yeah.
I'm salty. And then I took Seattle over Carolina.
Yeah, I'm not stupid. I'm taking Seattle.
And then I took Green Bay over Dallas. And that just goes to my I don't pick Green Bay against Green Bay and Lambeau. But the Cowboys are really good on the road.
Yeah, this is literally the immovable object, and what have you.
I think the Cowboys on a neutral field are probably better than Green Bay.
I think the problem is I think Dallas's offense is built to play in Green Bay and to play in cold weather like that, but their defense isn't there yet. They lost their their good players going into the year, and so they have like nothing left. So I'm taking Green Bay, but I think it'll be a game, and if anyone's going to pull off the upset in Green Bay, it's going to be Dallas. I think they're the only team built to do that.
Yeah, and see, whoever wins that game is going to be the NFC champion, because I have Green Bay beating Seattle. This is my opinion.
No, because Green Bay, they're not as good on the road. They're way better, and if you want proof of that, just remember what Aaron Rodgers did against Buffalo when they didn't even make the playoffs this year. And Detroit beat them in Detroit, and yeah, I'm going with Seattle because they already annihilated them once this season, and they're arguably a better team than they were in Week 1. The same holds true for Green Bay, but it
was like none of the teams that were like Green Bay, Indianapolis, and Seattle, none of them were really there.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season,
neither was New England.
Yeah, no, because New England actually fell behind too at the beginning of things.
Yeah, after that blowout by the Chiefs. I mean, it's just this Legion of Boom They are scarier looking than they were last year. And
who is Seattle losing next year? Is it Are they It's Lynch. No.
It's Lynch.
Lynch.
They're gonna cut Lynch because they're gonna save like $10 million or something by not having him, and that's why he took the middle of the season off.
Yeah, and I mean if they get 2 rings out of it, I think that's a pretty fair trade.
Yeah.
Seattle's not a franchise that's on like an arms race like Dallas is. Like Dallas needs, and what I'm worried is going to happen is Dallas will go to the Super Bowl and play Pittsburgh and lose, or play New England and get nuked off the face of the earth. And I'm not certain how well this city can handle that. Just seeing how they didn't handle losing back-to-back World Series. I saw someone drink an entire bottle of tequila that night. It was crazy.
This is why I'm glad I'm a Buffalo fan. We're just 9-7. This is like better than winning the Super Bowl right now. It's like, oh my god, we almost made the playoffs.
We have potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess my Super Bowl is Green Bay versus the AFC, and I'm inclined to pick Green Bay.
Yeah, I got the popular pick at New England, Seattle. It's boring. It's the 2 number 1 seeds. We got it last year. It's probably not going to happen again this year, but these teams look extremely dangerous. That would be a really tough one. And I don't know. I think New England wins this one, though. I think it's New England because I think Belichick just wants, Brady and Belichick need one more ring, I think, in their eyes. They don't, but they want one. They want probably 3 more rings, to be 100% honest. But I do think, because I don't know how much Gronk is going to, I don't know how long he's going to last. He's the way he plays, if he's out of the league in 3 years, I'm not going to be shocked. I think he legitimately might be gone before Brady, so, but it's going to be one hell of a matchup. But the problem is, Seattle's defense has good players, but they mostly rely on scheme. And Belichick will eat that scheme alive. So, you've got to outplay New England, and I don't know if
Russell Wilson can outplay Tom Brady, or their offense can outpace him, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think Seattle's offense is built to outplay a defense for the sake of saving their own defense. I think it'll be close. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those boring Super Bowls where it's like 14-10 is the final score. But yeah, no, I think New England wins this one though.
You haven't had a low-scoring Super Bowl in a minute, it feels like.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, we have, but only by one team.
See...
Denver only scored 7 last year, so we have had low-scoring 1 teams.
I mean, New England and New York in 2008 was 17-14.
Yeah.
But, like, it's 43-8, 34-31, 21-17, 31-25, 31-17, 27-23. Like, we're usually good for at least 40 points.
New England can put those kind of points up, but it's a matter of this Seattle defense, even if Belichick can outsmart them, he's not going to blow them out of the water. Like, this is still one of the better defenses of all time. But the way they're coached, the way they play, the way they fly around. I mean, this is... I'm not going to put it up there with the Ravens defense and, like, the 85 Bears and the Steel Curtain, but I'd put it right up there. I know you're going to think it's blasphemous. I'll put them up there with that Buccaneers defense that was leading you guys for a while.
That's fine.
I think that's about comparable.
Fair.
So...
I mean, they're definitely one of the better defenses in NFL history. I'd say they're about there with the 2000s Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
that made that run, and they just have a offense to go with it, which is nice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like I won't put them in a single season all-time best, but if this goes on for another year or two after this, I'd put them in like that core group. That's sort of what the Steel Curtain is. It was just like expanded for a while, and New England's defense in the early 2000s isn't getting enough talk, but they were really good. But like the 1-year dominant stretch, like the Ravens when they won the Super Bowl in 2000, where Trent Dilfer comes in, they don't score an offensive touchdown in 5 weeks and they go 4-1. Like that's a whole other level. And the Seattle
Yeah.
defense is playing really well, but I mean, that's like God mode. Like them and the 85 Bears, like those are like untouchable defenses. So I don't think Seattle's there, but they're still a very consistent top tier defense. With
All right.
yeah. So
Okay.
I think this might be one of the best New England teams we've had in a while, and I think the Seattle team has the best shot at becoming a back-to-back Super Bowl champion since New England did it last. So I think that would be a really good Super Bowl. But I'd be game. I mean, if it's Green Bay, New England, I'd be happy with that. There aren't a lot of matchups that I'd be bored with, really.
Of all the Super Bowl repeat possibilities, that would probably be my favorite one. That'd be an okay one. I'd watch that. Green Bay, New England.
I haven't missed a Super Bowl since like 1997, so I'm not gonna miss this one.
I did not watch the last Giants Patriots. So wow, I guess that was 3 years ago. So yeah, I didn't watch Giants Pats 2. I was just I was also I actually got broken up with on that day, which is awful. But I just generally was not interested in that matchup.
No, I mean, I was only interested in it because I was rooting for the Patriots at that time, because I was sick of my brother, who's a Giants fan. He's one of those big, like, smack talkers when his team wins, as if he had anything to do with it. It's like, dude, I went to the last Bills-Giants games. We went to MetLife, which is a terrible stadium. I don't know what they try and tell people, but MetLife is an awful stadium. It's, like, uncomfortable. It's just, ugh. But we went there and the Giants won, and I had to listen to him for the 4-hour trip back.
I think I may have watched the 96 Super Bowl, Cowboys over the Steelers. I kind of remember celebrating that. But I don't remember really watching Green Bay, New England. And I do remember watching Broncos, Packers. And then I was cheering for the Falcons and Broncos, Falcons. That was the first one that actually was going for somebody. And then, yeah, the Patriots-Giants game in 2012 was the first one that I just didn't watch. Well, that is Meredith signaling the end of my end of the stream. So I am going to go ahead and head out.
Alrighty,
But it's been fun. So your Super Bowl champion was New England, and mine was Green Bay.
Yep.
All right. We will keep posted and update our trees, I guess, as the playoffs go on. Maybe do another Skype if Skype cares to try again.
Hopefully. And here's to an 0-4 weekend for us picking playoff games.
1-3. I want Dallas to win.
I'm rooting for Dallas, but let's be honest. This is our luck.
Am I willing to sacrifice Dallas to get Pittsburgh out? Yes. I'm definitely more vengeful than I am. I definitely hate Pittsburgh more than I like Dallas. No, I hate Pittsburgh because of Dallas. That didn't profit me any. Well, I'll make decisions on who I hate more than I like next week. But I'm going to head out, all right, man?
Alrighty.
All right,
I will
later.
talk to you later.